all the land around the fort started becoming very valuable. And that's why reclamation projects started. So there could be more land made available for people when they come in. So, all these projects went bust also. So Bombay stagnated a little bit after. But we can say that there was no stopping it in the longer run.
If let's talk about Chapati. There are some very significant events or developments that have shaped Mumbai's history.
Mm-hmm.
What would the history be behind the iconic Chapati in Marine Drive?
Right. Okay. So, the word Chopati itself, today when we talk about Chopati, again, to listeners who are not fully connected with Bombay or may not be aware, Chopati today is almost synonymous with beach when we say it in Bombay. So it's literally like the two words are used interchangeably. But actually speaking, Chopati, the word, it comes from the two words Chau Patti. So in Marathi, it means char patti, which means 4 channels. And what that refers to is, again, in a much more pristine time, there were 4 channels that flowed in and out of the.
All cities in America are so full of culture. I think that the whole country resonates with culture, art. It gives a lot of prominence. So I've not been to a lot of countries, but what was so fascinating, and the Middle Road has a publication where I wrote about my experiences in the. Usually, it's not ever in the I format, but this publication was taken in exception of the libraries or the monuments of my libraries. I didn't talk about, but so many museums or so many other places of art and culture which America is. It's truly fascinating.
Right, but I also, sorry, on this bit about libraries, before I forget, and since you mentioned it, when I go, let's say when I do my research, and there's very, very, very limited institutions in India that have some materials that I don't have in my collection, and I want to look up, research such and such. So I go to the Asiatic, and but the thing is, because of Bombay weather, mostly some of it may not be in best condition. So the next step is usually British Library. And when I compare the British Library to some of the American libraries that have vast collections, and some of them are also related to South Asia, and I ask them to, how can I refer to pieces and such, and it's so much smoother to work with American systems. It's just so. Again, there's a whole process that goes into accessing other countries' works, but with the American libraries, it's so smooth, it's so straightforward, it's so professional, and of course, there's very little issue, at least because we speak in English and we write in English.
It's become much smaller. I haven't checked up, but it was the main sort of library in Pune, and a very fascinating library for a public library, to go to. So I really appreciate sort of the work which they actually did in Pune. But yeah, so thanks. I really appreciate taking time and speaking with me. I really admire the work which you're doing, and I think what's good about this is that you've taken it to next level. People have hobbies, they build on it, but what you're doing is like you're taking that particular your passion to another level where you're actually commercializing it also, and you're able to getting a subject matter expertise within that particular area. So I really appreciate. We've also gone into certain things which not many people are aware. For example, I was not even aware of so much of history associated with Mumbai, and this is good. This is something which the whole sort of helps, and it's more of a motivating factor for others to understand and build on about their own passion and how they can take it to the next level. So
yeah. Well, thank you. You said some things which are very, very interesting. This thing about merging actually making a living out of something that we're passionate about. It's it's usually in India, for some reason, it becomes a dichotomy. It's either this or that. So it's true. It's very difficult to do that sometimes. And again, I think we're a little more boxed in our way of thinking as of today. But you're right. Like and not just important. I also think if you pursue it with that mindset, and it's nothing to be shy about. It's nothing to be defensive about. That it's not true enough if you're also pursuing the financial side of things. That comes up sometimes. Even for me myself, it does come up as a question. But I do try and keep both of them going concurrently, because it is important. Finance and money does drive